So, hello everyone, welcome to our channel. If it's your first time hearing this channel and watch this video in the first time, have in mind that today we are going to talk about the Azure Data Services, the different type of Azure Data Service. But I will start with a briefing, navigate through each one of these data services. So then we're following it with a hands-on, creating a storage account, and into this storage account you're going to create a blob storage, and so then a file storage. Navigate through the configuration of each one, and we have some tips about that. And to finish up, we have hands-on to understand how to access this blob storage and from the portal and from your own machine. So then, given that, let's start and understand what is the kind of the Azure data service that we have. So the different type of data service we have those one that is listed here, that it's the Azure Blob, file, queues, table, managed disks, and now we have in preview the container storage. So to understand a little bit about each one, let's go deep. Let's go deep into one of those. And let's say that you are new here in the Azure cloud and want to understand more about each one, and someone ask you to have a space to upload, download unstructured data, and they want that it's a massive they will have a massive data to be uploaded and downloaded. Let's say that you want to configure a big data analytics. So if you have those requirements, probably you choose the Azure Blob. But if you want to migrate some files from primes to the cloud without breaking any links, or if you want to share some files between applications, or have a diagnostic logs that could be shared between people, and you also would like to have ability to see these files in your own machine without needing to access the Azure portal or REST API or CLI. So then probably you have to use the Azure Files. The Azure Files help you to have these kind of services. Yeah, it depends to you what is your needed, and what you want to use it for. Just to make it more clear, so the Azure Blob, we have unstructured data. You have amount of data that could be stored there in an unstructured way. Normally is used for big data analytics or for streamings, even though it's used for backup. Depends on the tier that you be choosing. But if you want to share files, share configurations, have maybe a percent volume percent, and you want to have your diagnostic logs, and maybe you want to have some network drivers, the Azure Files is the best approach for it. Now move on to a different requirements. Now let's say that you being required to provide a solution for a large SQL, a large databases that you must have a high performance. So then probably you have the Elasticsearch that will help you with that. Even if you need this performance, this high performance. It's in a larger environment. Mostly it's used for database. So then the best approach we have the Elasticsearch for it. And now let's say that you don't want to configure a database. You don't want to you don't want to configure a database, but you want structured data. So you could take advantage and has Azure tables. In the Azure tables, you have structured data using NoSQL data in the cloud, so you could have it integrated with your application as well. And speaking about applications that want to use a message broke, uh, you need to use a message broke. You need that this message queue between applications components, so you could be using the Azure queues for that. And those another one are a different scenarios where uh, when you create a virtual machine, you must have a managed disk for that. That's where your OS image will be placed. But you also could be using the Azure managed disk for if you want to attach a new disks. Like okay, you have your OS disk, but you want more disk for that, maybe for some persistent volumes as well. And so you could be attach these disks in your virtual machines, uh, into your virtual machines. What more about that? Mostly it's used for that, the managed disk. There is a different tiers for that. You have standard and the premium version. It depends on what is your needed and your performance that you want as well. And the last but not the least, we have the Azure Container Storage that currently is in preview. It's a new way that Microsoft is providing for Azure Container Storage uh, for integrate with Kubernetes when you want to store data for stateful applications running in the Kubernetes cluster. It's in preview yet, but it's a good approach if you want to have it as well. So uh, this is was a little bit about the type of the data services that are provided to us. Now we are going to see how to create an storage account, and we touch in the storage account that we touch in the storage account creation, but we will see how to create Blob storage and also Azure file storage. So then how to access this Blob storage. All right, so let's see how we create it and do our demo here. To create a storage account, you could search here as a storage account in the search box, and you see there is a storage account. Now we are in the plate that we are able to create the storage account. Click on here in the storage account, and so then we will have to fill this with the information that we want related to the storage that we want to create. I want to create it in this subscription. I just have the subscription here, but you could have more than one. The resource group, I have both. I have two resource group here, but I'm to create in this one that is the demo. But you also could create a new one here. Let's say dev, and you create under the dev resource group. Even though you haven't created it, you are able to create it in this time. The storage account name, it's a unique name. If you try to create a storage account that anyone has created already, so it's not able because it's already taken, as you see here. But let's say that I want to create with my name. No one has created with my name. That's a good one. The region here, you have to pay attention about the compliance, because the region that you choose here, that you pick, is a region where your data will be stored. And so then pay attention about the compliance and the region that you are choosing to place your data here. The performance, it mostly you use the standard one, but if you want more performance for a specific kind of scenario, let's say that you want more performance that it's a high performance for to scale or to read and write operation, or you want a low latency, low storage latency, high transitions. So you have to choose one of those. But if you choose those, depends on the region that you have choose picked here. You see that there is a different kind of redundancy. If I choose here, let's say to central, in the central, I just have locally redundancy here. But in our case, in the standard, you see we have more options as gel redundant, zone redundant, and gel zone redundant. We will have a video just to explain uh, how this works here about the redundancy here. I will leave it as local redundancy in that case. So then I will go to the next one where you configure some things related to the security here. The security is how this storage could be reached. Yeah. So speak about that. You could disable this one, the security transfer. When you disable it, you're saying that okay, I can receive, I can, I'm enable here. When you disable it, you are enable, you are make available the options to reach this storage account using HTTP, also for SNMP, and another configurations. As if you just put your mouse here, you see the configuration that you are allowing here when you disable it. I leave it enabled. About the anonymous access individual containers here, it's if you enable it, you are saying that anyone in the internet, when you create a blob container, you could choose different different level of access. So then you could say that the anonymous could be access, anonymous access for individual containers or blobs could be accessed without any authentication and authorization. I'll leave it disabled for now, but further I will show you how it works. So you also could take advantage of if you want to have big data analytics workloads, you could take advantage configuring this, and when you have it enabled, you also able to have SFTP. And here in this SFTP, it's when you want to configure FTP and create a user for a specific folder and provide this user and URL and the endpoint for the client to upload files using the SFTP way. It's not our case here. And the last in displayed here, but not the least, we have here the access tier that it's hot or cool. Hot is when you intend to access this data frankly, and like you want to access the every day, every time. So you must have to hot access tier. Or if you want to have a data that you be used as a backup scenario, or archive some data that are data that you are not intend to frequently access that. So then you could choose the access to a school. It's cheaper uh, if you are not intend to access it every time. Otherwise, it will be more expensive than the hot one. In that case, we want hot here, and we move on to the networking. And here in the networking, you can choose the way that you want to access it to provide this storage account, to provide this endpoint for the. In that case, we are providing a public access for entire network, so it's open to the public face. But here in that case, you could open this as public face, but for a specific IP address that you can settle, or for specific virtual networks, or you even can disable the public access and just provide access to a private endpoint. Our case here, we want to provide it for public access, and here in the data protection, you could configure, enable or disable the part related to the soft delete. The soft delete is when anyone accidentally deleted a blob data, and you don't have backup configured in place for that, uh, or you don't want to restore from the backup. So you have some days here based on the days. You have some retained days here, and you can choose whatever you want here. You could leave it for 30 days, but remember, if you leave it after 30 days, and let's say that I delete some data, so those data will keep there for 30 days, so then you'll be paying for that. So pay attention on that thing. The same for the point in time to restore, and also for the version. If you enable the version, we have different versions of these data for these blobs here. But yeah, again, we have more, you will have more space, and so then we pay for it. If you want to track what's going on with those data, you can track it, keep all logs, or delete the logs after some days, and depends on how you want to configure it. In our case here, I don't want to enable nothing of that. Is not our case here. I leave as a standard. And so then we have the encryption type. You can let it to Microsoft encrypt it, or you can customize by using your own customized tool that you have to configure it to, and so then we will be able to choose here. We don't have anything configured, so then I will leave it as Microsoft. So then review and create it. You take some few seconds, around 30 seconds to create. Here is just a overview, the configuration that we just did and how it will be created. So then creating here is start the creation of the storage account. Remember, when previously I was saying about Blob container, about file share, queues, tables, what is used for, and you are able to create these kind of data services, and all those one that I just mentioned for you right now, it's created into the storage account. So then if you want to create a blob container, a file share, a queue, or a table, you must have to create a storage account in order to have it. Okay, now we have it created. You could click on in here in this button and go to the resource, but let's say that you missed this page and you want to search the storage that we created. You might go here in the search box as we did previously, and so then search for it and storage account, and here you go, we have the storage account just created. So click on the storage account, you see the configuration about this storage. We have here the standard, the performance that created, the way that it's replicated is locally replication, the version, the kind that it's proposed version 2, the provision state. So we have all the configuration here related to the storage account. And where is the Blob container, file shares, and queues? In order to create it, you have to go here in the data storage, and so let's say that I want to create a Blob container. So then you click on here in container, click on containers, give your name of this container. I say that this container is a root container. You see there we are not able to choose here the anonymous access level, because remember when we was creating the storage account, we left as disabled the anonymous access here. So because of that, we are not able to choose the access level. But let's create this one. So now we have here a container created, and where the data is stored. Speaking about the container, the Blob container. The Blob container, you have to have a container to store this data. So then here into this container you could create where you could upload the data. It's an unstructured way to have your data here. So then you could like browser your any file that you wanted here. Let's say I want to here bring here, there is some surfing. I like to surf just for guys. But let's say that I want to upload this picture in this container. When you create it, when you upload it, it's saying, oh, you upload as a hot way. This file here, this data here is considered as a blob. You see, it's a blob type. You could like provide, let's say that you want to provide this image for, let's say you could have it in application could be consuming that. Let's say that you want to provide it for a client, whatever the reason that you want to provide it. If you go here, you could generate a SAS. That's one of the ways that you are able to provide the authorization and the authentication and the authorization to get this file. So then I say that I just have as HTTP or HTTPS and HTTP. So then I will generate here a SAS token, and I can copy it here and provide it for anyone. So if I click here you go, you have me, you have my picture. But let's say that I haven't generated this SAS token. I just want to provide a URL without the token. So if I do that, we are not we are not authorized to see this folder, this file. So this is because we just have provided an authentication and authorization as we did it using the SAS token. But let's say that you want to make it public in a way that you don't want to provide any permission. You want that it be anonymous. You see that the anonymous access level is as private. So how you change it? We have to go here in the configuration, and here in the configuration, remember the allow blob anonymous access. If you enable it, save it. After saving it, when you go here in the containers, and so here in the containers, let's say that I just want to change this one here. I don't want to change the entire container. I just want to change the data, this blob data. So I could, oops, not this one, sorry. I can click on this one and view editing. Sorry guys, it's not here. You have to go here in the container, and in the, sorry about that, here in the container you can change the access level, and in the access level you say I just want anonymous access for the blob or for the entire container. So then I say here for the blob is just as read. The anonymous cannot edit it, so but could be read it. Remember, I have here the URL without SAS token, just the URL related to this file. So here, if I refresh it, here you go. I have here, I'm able to see the file, to download the file, the blob data that we stored here under here. So that's the way that we created a container, and how we upload a container from the portal, and how we access this container. But let's say that we want to do that without portal. You could take advantage, you could use the Azure CLI, you could use the REST API, or you also could use a tool here that it's called Microsoft Azure Storage Explorer. I already have it configured, but it's quite simple to configure it. After you install this one, you might go here in this one, and so choose here, let's say a subscription, so then next, and so then you have to pick your user account, and so then you'll be connected into this one. So now you are authenticated, and based on your permission, based on your authorization, so you'll be able to do whatever you need here. So here I will refresh here. So here I have an storage account, so then here I can manage whatever I want. Here I could like delete this file. Instead connecting to the Azure portal, I could go through here and delete it, for example. So it's deleting, it's deleted, or I can also take advantage and upload a file or a folder here. Could create a new blob container, like say it's a test, and if I turn back here to the portal, you see there is a new container that I create from this tool here. Let's say that I want to create another data service into this storage account. As I mentioned to you previously, you are able to create a file share, and so you could create a file share, a queue, and a table under this same storage account. Depends on how you want to work with that. So here in the file share, simple like that, I give a name like maybe marketing, and I don't want enable the backup of that. So review, create, and here you go. We have here a file share, and this file share you could take advantage and use the Azure file sync to have it in your own uh, notebook, in your own computer, or you could like use the connect way here that you create a driver letter in your own computer. But to have it, you have some steps to configure it. Is not the for this demo, but we have a demo just for how to configure a file, how to connect into the file share. So that's it, guys. Hopefully that this video help you to understand a little bit more about the storage account, how to create a storage account, how to create a container or file share, queues and tables, and how to access this data that is stored into the container, and using the REST API, using the Azure portal, or CLI, or even though you could take advantage of the Azure Storage Explorer and manage from there. That's it, guys. Appreciate your time and thank you. See you soon.